All right, welcome to week 8. This is where you are going to add in at least one table and one appendix to your research paper, and you're going to review everything, make any corrections from comments that I've made, and you're going to make sure everything's right. So you're going to go through the research paper. I've been putting this every week. Make sure, do you have a title page? Go back and look at the title page assignment. Is it APA correct? Have you made all the corrections? Is your abstract 150 to 250 words? Does it have in the starred items where you ID the problem, the parties involved, your conclusions, the 4 starred items? Then you're going to go over your introduction and thesis statement. Your introduction has to be 1 page minimum. Your thesis statement has to have listed out what type it is, and then have listed out the items you're going to argue or explain or analyze that correlate with the subheadings in your literature. Your literature review is 1,500 words by itself. Your conclusion is going to be at least 2 pages minimum and have the starred item of your detailed future plan. I think I forgot to say also the introduction, make sure you have the starred items still listed out. Your references or annotated bibliography, you have to have at least 1 journal, 1 book, 1 magazine or newspaper, and 1 website. And every one of those has to be cited at least 1 time in your literature review. Do not list a reference unless you cited it in your literature review, which means you paraphrased it or quoted it. Otherwise, it does not belong in your reference list. And then you need 1 table and 1 appendix. Remember, your similarity report via VeriCite has to be 15% or lower. Under announcements above on Moodle talks about how to get that report. The main issues I see with students is you have to submit your report, give it a couple minutes, refresh your page, reload it, and then go back into the assignment, go to the bottom, and right under the title of your paper you'll see similarity and the percentage, and you can click on similarity and again go to VeriCite to learn how to read those reports. Remember that you've got your required videos to watch this week, and this week they're pretty short, couple minutes each. They go over how to write a table and an appendix. Here's a real short review of what an appendix or appendixes is or are. Here's a more detailed instruction for what a table and appendix is that you can download and review. And then you're going to turn in your completed research paper. I've given you a number of ways to review your drafts. Not only review them 3 times, have Microsoft Word read it aloud, utilize another writing review application, go to the Writing Center in person or via email, especially if it's been required. And read all the instructions. Not only read them all, but I like to, when I read instructions, especially if they're long, take notes as I'm reading them of the highlights, and then after I complete my assignment, go back and make sure I hit them all. But again, this goes over everything, your title page, your abstract, how long it has to be, your intro, how long it has to be, the thesis type and points, literature review. Don't forget to submit everything corrected. I hate to see when I've commented on something and then you don't make those additions, and so you lose points. So make sure you do that. Also, make sure that your VeriCite report, as I said, is not over 15%. Because as I've talked before, I don't want a paper that's all quotes. All right, don't forget to go back to week 3 if you have any issues. That's where I have put everything that's going to help you write your report, along as your textbook. This manual, you always can trust this manual. If you ever have a question about how to cite something, your textbook, which is the APA publication manual, will lead you through the correct way to do it. So when all else fails, your publication manual is there. Plus again, if you go under week 3, it just has from all the start items required to the writing lab to the citation maker that helps you do in text citations as well. Don't forget that you have A, B, and C template research papers. Template A has the start items, which you still need to have those in your paper. And after the peer review, you'll take out all those start items and you'll do a final submission. But that's not just yet. This week, you still need all those start items in your paper, because what's going to happen next week is we are going to do a peer review. So I will assign your paper that you turn in this week to 2 other peers, and you'll get 2 other peers' works to review as well. And that's where you'll review their paper, and you have a whole questionnaires that you have to answer on their paper. That's another reason why up to this point I have not looked through your literature review for grammar, punctuation, and spelling. I've just gone over it for content, APA issues. It's at the peer review and going to the Writing Center before you submit it that you'll hit those issues, and also when you submit your final paper. All right, this ends this video. Thank you.